What up YouTube, it's your boy ProfessorStix and I'm back again with another Call of Duty Warzone video. Today we're going to be comparing the Carv and the M16. We'll be comparing the stats, looking at the recoil pattern, and I will be sharing with you the best attachments. Let's find out if the Carv is viable in Warzone and if it's worth unlocking. If this is your first time here, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I make Warzone tips and tricks videos and I compare the best weapons in Warzone. Let's get into it. When we're looking at the weapon stats, the Carv has an ADS speed of 305 milliseconds compared to the M16, which has an ADS speed of 297 milliseconds. The movement speed for the Carv is 4.71 meters per second compared to the M16, which comes in at 4.69 meters per second. The reload speed for the Carv is 2.25 seconds compared to the M16, which is 2.44. The Carv has a rate of fire of 507 rounds per minute compared to the M16, which has a rate of fire of 453 rounds per minute. And so they're pretty similar here. The Carv does have an edge in terms of reload speed and that rate of fire. It's kind of similar to the AUG where you can kind of spray and pray and just hope that you hit shots. Now let's take a look at the damage profile. The Carv does 61 damage to the head, which means it's going to take 5 shots to down a fully armored opponent, compared to the M16, which does 72 damage to the head, which means it's going to take 4 shots to down a fully armored opponent. Now the Carv does 37 damage to the chest, which means it's going to take 7 shots to down a fully armored opponent. And the M16 does 40 damage to the chest, which means it's going to also take 7 shots to down a fully armored opponent. Now keep in mind, both of these weapons do not have a damage fall off. All right, so let's take a look at the time to kill. If you hit all of your headshots, the Carv is going to down a fully armored opponent in 473 milliseconds compared to the M16, which is going to down a fully armored opponent in 397 milliseconds. If you hit all of your chest shots though, you are going to down a fully armored opponent in 710 milliseconds, which is much faster than the M16, which comes in at 795 milliseconds. But we got to take a look at how many headshots you need to hit in order to get the optimum time to kill. So if you hit 2 headshots with the Carv, you are going to bring your time to kill down to 592 milliseconds, which is pretty good. But in order for it to be really elite, you need to really hit 3 headshots, which is going to bring your time to kill to 473, which means you have to hit 3 headshots in those 2 bursts. And that is a really tough thing to do. With the M16, to have a low 500, all you need to do is hit 2 headshots. And if you hit those 3 headshots, then you would have a 397 millisecond time to kill, which is just really good in Warzone. So you can see here, when we look at the time to kill, the Carv just isn't really that great of a weapon. It's not as fast in terms of its time to kill. You can spam it, which means that it could be good for mid-range. All right, so let's take a look at the recoil pattern. Then you can make a decision if it's worth it for you to unlock. All right, so for the recoil pattern, first I wanted to show you guys what the recoil pattern looks like when you just spam the Carv versus the M16. Now you can see with the Carv, it is pretty sporadic. It does have a lot of randomness vertically and horizontally. So that makes it a lot harder to spam, especially if you're having those long range battles. Now, if you look at the M16, it's pretty much recenters itself almost every time it is in a very tight cluster. Now, taking a look at the bullet spread when we're shooting it in a single burst, you can see that the 3rd bullet is pretty random. It's not really straight. Sometimes it veers to the left, sometimes it veers to the right. So this is going to make it very hard to be able to hit those headshots. Now, if you look at the M16, it is perfectly straight. It almost has no recoil. And that's why the M16 was super powerful back before it received its nerf. So in my opinion, it's going to be very hard to control the recoil for the Carv. You're gonna have to be a very skilled player to hit those headshots to make the time to kill really impactful. All right guys, let's get into the situational use. The Carv is a pretty fun weapon to use. It reminds me of the AUG when it first came out. The fast fire rate, pretty decent time to kill. I think it's good at mid-range, but not great at long range. This is really what the Carv is. It's good at mid-range. It could be at close range, but what's the point of using a burst tactical rifle as an SMG? So in my personal opinion, I think you definitely need to keep this for a mid-range weapon, maybe a sniper support. Now let's take a look at the attachments. All right, so for the attachments, you're gonna wanna go with the agency silencer, the 22.3-inch cavalry lancer. This barrel gives you the best bullet velocity, but if you want to use it for close range and you want to increase your fire rate, you're going to want to go with the titanium barrel. If you guys want more information on all of the barrels, I suggest you check out JGOD or True Game Data's video. I will link to that in the description below. For the underbarrel, you're going to want to go with the Field Agent foregrip. For the ammunition, the 54 round drum mag and the Vision Tech 2X, since you're going to be using this primarily for mid-range gunfights. For the M16, it's the standard build, the agency silencer, the 15.9-inch strike team barrel, the Axle Arms 3X barrel, the Field Agent foregrip, and the 60 round mag. All right, so here are my final thoughts. The Carv is a good addition to the Warzone ecosystem. Raven Software seems to be taking it cautious when it comes to adding new weapons. The last 3 weapons they have added have not been overpowered. Now, keep in mind that they did kind of mess this one up in terms of some of the attachments. Let's see if they fix it. And maybe it can rise into the meta, but as of right now, it's just really not a great weapon. So it's up to you if it's worth unlocking. You do have to jump into multiplayer and get a double kill and do that in 10 different matches, or you could do that in plunder if you don't have the multiplayer version. Also, you can buy a bundle in the store. I wouldn't suggest it, but it's up to you. It's your money. All right, guys, that's it for me. Make sure you hit that like button and make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can find your way back for more Call of Duty content. As always, make sure you drop into Verdansk and frag out. Peace.